It says
What's
I'm live.
intuitive?
Oh, YouTube actually, like, it had a pop-up like, hey, looks like you're ready to go. Yeah, because it's a little different from usually if I hit go live, it just like pops off and goes. So
And now it's not.
yeah,
F.
it's so random. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Guys, have you seen that one scene of K-pop
All right, got that.
I can hear my daughter playing Roller Coaster Tycoon in the background.
Heck yeah, man. I played like that the OG one on PC as a kid.
This is Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 on the Switch, so it is in fact the OG one.
Nice. I didn't have a clue what I was doing though, so I was a little probably it's like it was neat, but at the same time I was probably a little too young to
What do you
really
mean I'm
comprehend.
What do you mean I'm bankrupt? What do you mean the
Exactly.
park has no money?
Okay, why are people like throwing up everywhere? Why is everyone so disgusted? Oh, there's not enough bathrooms? What? We're at
Security
an
guard.
amusement park. What are you using the bathroom for? Very Wildhearts topics, let me tell you.
Oh, I get
So,
it. I get it.
for anybody watching the playback, we did have to do a very last minute reschedule from our two players. So they're going to join us in about 40-ish minutes or so. So because we've already announced that we were going live at this time, we are just we're going to do like a little pre-game show, right? So any of you like sports fans out there, you show up and they would do on ESPN like 30 minutes before the game starts. You know, the commentators would be doing a little bit of, you know, breakdowns and stuff like that. So that is actually kind of what we're gonna do today. So I'll pull up their deck list so we can kind of take a look at them. I am also joined here with one of our other staff members, not one of our normals. Dawn is actually in the middle of playing her own game, but we weren't able to stream that because they actually started earlier. So yeah. All right, so we have Simba, and is it? I believe Don Fidel is our other player. So we did do a full breakdown
Yes.
of all these decks on the Tamer Talk. So if you really want to see a super in-depth, just a generalized breakdown of all the decks, go check out our Tamer Talk from earlier this week. It was the 1st of October, actually. But this is going to be more of a comparing the two together.
John will have a breakdown of those decks too this
Oh.
weekend. If you
Yeah.
wanted a non-staff member, non-biased, let's say,
Right.
point of view on that.
All right. I guess it would help if you guys could actually see my monitor. So let's switch that around. Let's go here. This could be pretty good, but I think I like this one better. That's a better view. All right, so I've got Simba's deck pulled up for you guys here. Don't mind the blue. It's done in CMYK instead of the normal RGB, so it just looks a little different. All right, so he is playing Chrism Trossum. So big tent-pole-y kind of deck from the looks of it. He's playing. He's got the Ignice in here, the Terra Chick, and the Tortu. Some pretty simple might like familiar or allies, sorry, that you see them fairly often, right? They're pretty simple, straightforward pieces. We see the Unity Tactics there. Unity Tactics when you're running Trossum, always good, right? Because you can, by round 4, you're going to have, in general, usually you can kind of look at it as having maybe 6 creatures in general out there. The 4 off the Trossum, your 2 familiars, and then anything else that you've played along the way. So it's really easy to get that Unity Tactics trigger. And then his other big pieces, he's got the Lunos and the Turpion, or Turpion, because it's a scorpion, right? Turpion. I don't know why my brain always goes to Terpion, but it's, yeah, Terpion. And Terpion makes sense with Might. I like it because you got the Chrism out there. Chrism's usually going to be winning whatever field it's sitting in. So it's almost like an easy VP gain, I would say. So I really like the synergies there. And then for everything else he's playing is just like tactics good stuff, right? We see the Lucky Hat, the Auto, the Crochin, the Vortnail, Drill Attack for some added removal. He's got Shaper Magic, which is really cool. Skyer for some more general removal. Reprieve for a little bit of extra bonus VP gain there, and a little bit of bonus power for your familiars. And then the hidden powers for some more just like kind of utility. Move your stuff around. He's not running the amulet, right? The Sylph amulet that has the support that lets you move. He's actually super light on supports. Just notice that. Only the Shaper Magic and Lucky Hat supports. But like all the card choices are still great card choices. They're just not a ton of stuff with... yeah, I think the only thing I would change would maybe drop the Ignition for a Sylph amulet. Just for that support to get that little extra bit of movement. But he is running the hidden powers at least. But Shaper Magic is really cool, especially in a deck like this where, yeah, you put Chrism in a spot and then just change it up and swap some fields around, or use the Shaper Magic support to swap some allies around. Yeah, I like the versatility there. And yeah, we see the very classic, I call them the classic Chrism fields. We see the Windy Plateau and the High Wind Fall. High Wind Fall giving that bonus power to whatever the highest power creature is pretty much going to be the Chrism a lot of the times. Now, there isn't any, like power gaining besides the Ignition. So, like, depending on the matchup, Chrism might not be the most powerful. So... that said, let us take a look at what Don Fidel is running to see how they stack up against each other. So we see another Trossum. So we got the Trossum mirror match here, but we've got Ferocity instead of Might with the Skyson. Oh, we got the Arcanum Swamp as well. Just very interesting choice, which is a hard counter, I would say, to that Chrism, you know?
Yeah, this is... I mean, if you're looking at Simba's deck, that was super oppressive for, I think, most opponents. And then you look at just the fields here. I mean, you said it, like, the last deck has very little movement. Well, then you're popping the Skysim, so we're going to have movement every round no matter what. And then you've got the shutdown and ongoings. Well, neither the Trossum or Chrism are magic. But also, none of Don Fidel's are magic. So, is this, you know, what is the strategy with the Swamp, do you think, Chase?
I mean, I do kind of see it as, you know, a really good counter to there's a lot of stuff out there. Skyson's ongoing, you're not usually getting, even trying to attempt to get that ongoing for the first 2 rounds, I would say. It's definitely like a finisher, I would say, towards the second half of the game.
Well, and he's only got 2 discards, right? He's only got the Lady Seer down there and then the Fury Potion. So how low is your hand even going?
Right. Yeah, as far as like 3-costers though, he's pretty low on the 3-costers. So he's going to be playing a decent amount from his hand, right? He's got a couple 0-costers in there, and yeah, just a ton of 1s and a few 2s. So, like, I feel like he's going to be able to play out his hand pretty well to eventually get that Skysun online. A lot of 1-ofs. Like, I think this might be probably the most 1-ofs that we've seen in the tournament. Just a quick glance at the other lists. Yeah, it looks like this is the lowest.
No, but Jamie Sharp has a decent amount of 1-ofs as well.
Just a quick pull up there. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, probably Jamie has more. It's still a good amount here, but yeah, just very interesting. But yeah, there's we see good draw power, right? We got the one luck he had at least. We got one in the side, which that could come in. We don't know. And then the Alistair's Guide there for some more draw. So those are going to kind of offset the Skysin strategy, though. So it's kind of interesting to see how that's going to happen. But yeah, the movement, though, I think is the key with the Skysin here.
The thing that concerns me, so we're on Don Fidel's deck right now. The thing that concerns me is, yes, you have the swamp, but if Simba has one of his, like either of his fields, right? Both of his fields are pretty high value. Is the Chrism even going to be in the swamp? And if the answer is no, we're looking at just his deck right now, not the side deck, because I know Momentum Shift is in his side deck. If we're just looking at his deck now, what is the answer there? Because we've got one Skyer, but how are you removing the block? Right? So like I'm looking at this going like, yeah, you have a Skyer, but you're not removing the block. There's nothing here removing the block from the Chrism, right?
Yep.
Unless you're burning a Lady Seer to remove the block. I mean, that's a heavy cost, but
that'd be huge. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, looking at these two, this is an interesting mirror match to me, because we're looking at like Simba's, and Simba's, you know, having that Turpion, like you said. I mean, removing the ongoings, that's pretty big, right? Having Unity Tactics. I mean, if we're looking at the removal on Don Fidel's deck, I feel like Unity Tactics is pretty easy for Simba to get on board. And the fact that he has that Chrism, right, it's not 6, it's 5. Because clearly Don Fidel doesn't have the tools to remove and strict block from the Chrism every round, right?
Yep.
So it's 5.
And
you're getting
there's
at least
so
one...
much. Also, there's so much Guardian. Like, he's got the Vortnail, he's got the Trossum, right? He's got the Terrachik. Like, getting to that Chrism is pretty much impossible. So I feel like Don Fidel has to kick the Windy Plateau, right? And just leave it to the 3 and 2 point fields, because Chrism is going to just absolutely decimate if that Windy Plateau hits several times in a row, right? Where he gets to keep winning it. So and he's got the lower power between his familiars, so Don Fidel could definitely kick that Windy Plateau, and I think that is the play, right? And then you're gonna force the Chrism into the High Windfall, right? Because that's typically the line that Chrism players do.
Yep.
Is they just like shotgun it into the High Windfall every time, and it's only 3 VP. And your Arcanum Swamp is also 3 VP, and then they've got the Summer Peaks. That's
but see, Sumner Peaks here to me is really dangerous for Don Fidel to leave, because like you said, if we're looking at Simba's, the amount of Guardian, and it's like you said, it's not just Guardian, right? Because the Terrachik, you've got the block. You've got the Snail as a 3 that also comes down with a Guardian. So we've got a lot of, and then we've got just creatures that, like, how are you removing these from the board? Like, the Tortu is going to be what, with block behind Guardian?
Yep.
The Skyer is going to it's going to be behind a Guardian more likely than not. So, like, even if, like, this would be the part that scares me, is there's just, to me, this matchup, I favor Simba. Because we look at, like, his 2 Shaper Magics, the Scorpions. The Reprieves are a wash, right? Both of them have 2 Reprieves. But the Scorpions alone,
yep,
unless Oliver's Inlet is in play, and he's able to really maximize that, Don Fidel is going to be behind on the power game for a lot of this match, it looks like. And unless he's able to get that Iguana out and start chunking VP off of that, he can restrict the Fields Chase, but where's he getting the VP from that Simba isn't able to keep pace, right?
It definitely is going to be rough. Those Shaper Magics, too. Like, even if Don Fidel kicks out that Windy Plateau, Shaper Magic's a 1 cost. Like, literally can play that round one and just get your field back in, right? And especially if Don Fidel doesn't see that play coming, oof, that's gonna be rough. But yeah, I think I'll have to agree with you. I think Simba is favored in this matchup. Just the way the two decks are built, going head to head, completely, not even considering the players, just looking at the deck builds. Yeah, I would say that Simba's build has the advantage in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's possible because we've seen the Judge deck bite.
Yeah, we have. Oof.
But if you've got two Shaper Magics, let's say Don Fidel does kick it. Chase, what if that first Judge card says swap it back in?
Yep.
And now right now the whole plan is thrown out the window. I will say that swamp though is just really, if you're running as a player, because you play Ferocity so much, if you're running Trossum and Fury Potion, like, are you not trying to just Adult, blow up the Adult with Fury Potion, right? We're going to KO it. We're not going to have 1 power on the board. We're going to move 2 power onto one of our familiars. And then the Trossum's ongoing kicks in. Now your Adult's back in hand, right?
Yep.
That swamp shuts that off too. So we're not putting either of these in the swamp?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The inlet really probably needs to come in, especially in this matchup.
Well, but that's in his side deck. Is he going to swap that in at the start of the match?
I guess it depends on how the swamp treated him last week. I did not see Don Fidel's match last week, so I don't know how that went with the swamp. But depending on how that went, I would think would determine if he brings in the swamp or not. I just feel like the inlet just makes more sense with the Skyson myself, but...
Well, I mean, is it just the Skyson? You've got Guide, right? Alistair's Guide, the support. You've got the Croshin. You've got, as you said, you've got Hidden Power, right? Is it even just with the Skyson? You've got so many tools to use that. And if he's looking at at this matchup the way that we are, I'm curious to see if he's evaluating the same thing you did. Oh, Simba doesn't have any movement. And then leverages that inlet the way that you're wanting him to. How much Guardian do you think he ends up with on the board, Don Fidel? Is he sack bonding? Because the last time I watched him play with the Trossum, it was the Trossum Rapture, and he was either sack bonding his mirror images, or he was eating the mirror images with the Rapture, right?
Yeah.
How much Guardian does he even leave on the board? I think that's going to be the other thing I'm going to be looking out for in this match. Because if he's pulling his own Guardians off the board and just letting Simba go wide, Chase, what kind of hopes are you putting on his deck then? In this matchup especially.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be rough. I mean, you only need just enough Guardian basically for your familiars, right? Because your Trossum is in theory gonna make up for not having the Guardian to protect your allies, so you can just play those allies right back out.
Well,
assuming too many don't get KO'd, all at once. Yeah.
And let's not forget, the Skyson chase is not made. So when he plops down the Skyson, he has to move an ally with it. Now what happens when that ally is the Guardian, and now your Guardians get shuffled up amongst the fields? You get 2 in one field and none in the field that you need it. If he's not careful, and Don Fidel gets let's say he doesn't kick the plateau, and he gets all fields are live round 1, and there's a possible 3-3-5 or 3-5-2 on board. It's entirely possible if he gets behind in round 1 to Simba on the 5 and a 3 that he just starts putting it out of reach in round 1. That's how goofy this mirror matchup is, just because of the non-Trossum familiar both of them have brought.
Yep. Yeah. But the Simba's, I think, synergizes a little bit better though with the Trossum and the fields and like kind of the overall strategy. So.
Well, yeah, and I mean this could come down to, you know, where you were saying we're just looking at the decks. This could come down to experience too, where, I mean, we've seen Simba work with this deck where round 1 you've got like an Ignition and a Crochin, or round 1 you've got an Ignition and an Ottle, right? So you've got 2 1s down, and you've got the mirror image. So we've got 5 bodies on board, right? We go into the next round. It's another, maybe it's a Vortnail and a Terrachik. And so now he's got all the bodies he needs on board, right, for a Unity tactic. And then he's home free. What if he has 2 Unity tactics?
Yeah.
Better yet, what if it's a Terrapian and a Unity tactic? Because the Terrapian's going to score. I mean, look at the power disparity here. That Terrapian could score 3 points just on drop chase.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I saw that too. I was just like, ooh. Yeah, because he can go wide so fast and also stick some pretty decent, you know, power there at the same time. So not only is he going wide, but he's also got some pretty chonky, you know, boys to go with that wide. So, yeah, the Terpian can really put in a lot of work in this match.
And then the thing that concerns me too is we were talking about Don Fidel, and I know you were there for the Rapture removing his own mirror images, right?
I was not, no.
Oh, okay. So he had played one of his practice games he had played with this deck, and this is, I think, why it's in the sideboard. But his removing them for value, if he's sack bonding his own mirror images, I think the other risk he runs into is Don Fidel has absolutely no drill attacks in deck. Simba, as you pointed out, has 2. So there's the movement, right? Because the 1 casters, he's got 2 drill attacks, so there's some familiar movement. But if your allies that you're playing are not behind that Guardian because you've sack bonded it, and now suddenly that Hydra Fin that you played round 1, Chase, is kicked back into your hand.
Oof.
You are so behind on board. And then there's the one lucky hat thing. If I'm looking at anything right now, for Don Fidel to keep up, do you see the sack bond as something that he almost has to do here early?
Yeah, I mean, if he can pop off fast enough, and depending on what the judge's deck, you know, reveals, like, I feel like he's got an uphill battle, but it's not impossible. You see those early sack bonds, and then you can start getting your bigger stuff out and getting it going, getting your, you know, your engines, so to speak, getting them pumping. Then, you know, he can stabilize, I think. But it depends on what those judges deck reveals. It depends on those shaper magics as well. If both players are seeing it, or if just one person is seeing it, you know, that can be a huge factor as well. So definitely, I mean, that's always the bit there. But Don Fidel at least has the draw power to try to see those really important cards. He's got the Alistair's Guide, right? That's huge. 2 Alistair's Guides, and then Simba doesn't have any Alistair's Guides, right? So that could be, you know, like once Simba starts playing his stuff and just like dumps it all, like his hand replenish, unless he's passing first every time, which he could, because he's got a lot of expensive stuff, so he's not going to be playing a whole ton of cards, right? He's going to be playing, you know, maybe 2 cards around the whole game, whereas Don Fidel will be playing card after card after card after card. So, you know, that hand advantage can go sideways real quick depending on what happens.
I think the 2 reprieves is interesting too, Because I think for what we're talking about here, depending on that judge's deck, and depending on whether the plateau is or isn't kicked, you could see a swing round one by one of these players, and because of Reprieve's play from behind, you could see a situation where even Simba's Trossum is in a field with, say, the Skyson from Don Fidel, and he's able to reprieve himself a couple of VP to try to catch up. And then vice versa, right? You could see Don Fidel getting behind early and able to throw down a reprieve on either familiar in the field with the Chrism to not only catch up, Chase, to printed power, but also stack that VP to try to catch up. So that, I think that's another interesting part of this mirror, is it's almost a blow and counter blow with some of these cards.
Trossum's 5 power, right? I'm not crazy.
It is 5 power. These might be the old graphics.
Yeah, I think it is. That happened on another card, from what I remember. But yeah, I was just making sure. I was like, I'm pretty sure Trossum is 5 power. So 5 and 5.
I'm pretty sure it's the skunk is the other one where it like is the 1 cost version and it's a 2.
Oh
I'm
man,
pretty sure that's
1
the other
cost skunk.
Yeah.
Funk would be nuts. That'd be so busted.
1 power, speed, 3, and you just start flipping the ongoing like no one's business.
Yeah,
you know, that would be pretty nuts.
So yeah, two 5 power familiars though. Like it's nice and balanced. So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket or anything like that. So you know it's flexible. His deck is relatively flexible. It's just, does he see the lines or not? And then, you know, luck of the draw, sometimes that is a factor. He does have, you know, some extra draw to help out. But same with the 2 copies of Shaper Magic that Simba has, right? So he's got an added chance of making sure that he gets to see it. Now, you do have to resolve mulligans first before fields are kicked. So, not knowing if your Windy Plateau is going to get kicked or not, like, I feel like you have to maybe even try to mulligan into making sure that you see the Shaper Magic if you're Simba.
I was gonna say, I feel like for Simba, that starting hand requires one. Now, you have brought up the Alistair's Guide thing, and I think one of the reasons that Simba doesn't have it is, and maybe this is the Hearthstone blood in him, there's 2 copies every card, Chase.
Yep.
So his deck is built to hump with some level of consistency that Don Fidel might need the guide where Simba doesn't. Because when you've got, I mean, what is it? It's a handful, right? 6 or 7 cards that are one-ofs in Don Fidel's deck.
Yep.
And so now you've got to use the guide, right? Because you're looking for that rapture to clear these mirror images out of the field before he can unity tactic. And so how else do you get there? You don't have 2 copies, you need the guide. And I think that'll be interesting too, because with 1 copy of those in the deck, Don Fidel dropping that, here's the risk. Both of his familiars are wild.
Oh no.
But if it what if it's not in that field, and what if it cleans out everything you need to take a field? But now I'm thinking about that because I'm looking at Simba's deck and I'm going Croshan, Adult, Terrachik, Ignition, Tortu, Vortnail. Chase, these are all tame. Trossum, Terrapian, and Skyer. That's it. Mirror images, of course.
Right. Yeah, that's not a lot.
But Simba's entire early game, Chase, all 6 of those ally cards, they're all tame. And so even if you can shut up the Prism's ongoing, even if you could remove the block, that Rapture still is just doing nothing to that Chrism.
Man, but it eats his own field, though, so bad. Just looking at his lineup, like, there's a lot of wild creatures in his own list that the Rapture could
Latent
just...
Seer.
Yeah.
Amchar, both familiars, Gel Ice, Skyer. He had 2 Hydrophens, right?
Yep. The Iguana.
Oh my goodness. And you're just not playing it into the Iguana's field. Now here's the interesting part. He has the Iguana. How often do you see a 4-cost creature played? He would almost have to hit both sack bonds to get that Iguana online early enough, right?
Right.
Otherwise, that card's just not doing anything. The weird part is, like, his side deck to me, I almost would have just, like, that Lunos, that would go on the side deck, in comes the hat. That Gel Ice, that would go on the side deck, dude, I'd rather have that momentum shift.
Yep. Yeah.
Especially because we're talking Prism right now. I'd much rather have that momentum shift. And maybe even that second copy of Shaper Magic. Because again, he has to move with the Skysum, right? So the ability to swap, I feel like, is almost paramount here.
What do you think the chances of him bringing in the Rapture is? Because these lists are all public, right? Everyone knows what everyone's playing now. He knows that he's going against a Trossum player. What are the chances he brings in the Rapture? The familiar Rapture from the side.
Okay, so now here's something interesting that I'll give to you before I answer. Is the Rapture magic?
No.
So that Swamp is shutting down your Rapture then as well, right? And
Sure.
You're just eating Simba's mirror image for no power. Because if the Swamp is in Chase, where are you putting your mirror image so that it doesn't get eaten for any kind of efficiency? You're putting it in the Swamp, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the plays and the counterplays, yeah.
Right. So now you put your Rapture down. Yes, you removed their mirror image, but you're not getting any value off of it.
Right. And then bringing in the inlet in place of the Swamp, if you're kicking the Skyson out, then you're just like, oh, well, that feels bad.
Yep. Unless you're looking, well, okay, so I'll just say as a player, I love your swap the Skysum for the Rapture in this matchup, because Simba doesn't have any familiars sideboarded, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you swap in the Rapture for the Skysum, love where your head's at. I think we bring in the inlet, because we still have more movement in our deck than Simba does, right?
Yep.
We've got the Guide, we've got Croshin, we've got Hidden Power, we've got a little more movement. We can manipulate it a little more. And then what do you think if you kicked your own Summoner Peak? But see, to do that, you'd have to have that momentum shift in deck too, wouldn't you? Because otherwise your one answer to the Chrism is being able to Skyer once per game.
Yeah, but you still have to deal with that block, though. Like, I think that's the worst part about it is, it's like, yeah, you've got ways to remove it, assuming you can at least get the block out of the way, though.
Well, here's the other risk that Don Fidel's running, right? You drop the Lady Seer to get -4 into the block, right? To strip the block.
Yeah.
Chase the card you discard as momentum shift or the Skyer.
Yeah.
That's the risk, right? So like, I'm very nervous about that part of this matchup. If I'm Don Fidel, and again, if that's why you brought the Swamp, great. But if you're Simba, why in God's green earth are you even putting the Chrism in there unless he's looked at this list and said, you know what, he doesn't have anything to KO familiars. There's no momentum shift in the base deck. There's a single Skyer. Even if he can remove the Chrism's block, what does the KO being negated even matter?
Right. I don't think there's a world where Chrism goes into either of these fields. Like, he kicks one of your two fields, you just put the Chrism in the other field that he didn't kick. Like, 10 out of 10 times you do that.
Well, and again, what answer is there here, even with the Swamp?
There's not.
And I mean, you okay? So you brought up something interesting too. Even though I said I'd put in the momentum shift, Chrism does not really have a lot of bonus power here. You brought this up earlier, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just igniting.
Yeah,
Maybe
the momentum
really.
shift is just the removal aspect. It's not great.
So now you're paying 2 to just put him back on the bench, basically.
Yep. You better be
Oh,
winning a big field for some big VP, if that's the case.
that needs to be the winning play, or I don't feel great about it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even the Skyer, if all you're doing is putting him back on the bench, yeah, but it's three power on the board,
Yep.
right? Yeah, I don't like it. I'm shocked I didn't see a whistle in Don Fidel's list, given the creatures that he has. You know, the 2 Hydrofen, the Skyer, even paying 3 to pull the Lizard, right? Because there's a round 1 hat whistle, right? You play Lucky Hat, you then play the whistle. You only pull 1 creature out of the top 5, but hey, it's the Iguana. You return a mirror image to your hand chase, so the Iguana is now 7. And you have that ongoing on board right away. And then you can replay the mirror image because it's a 0-cost creature, right?
Yep.
And now you could actually play it to the Trossum's field. So I mean, there's a world where if Whistle is in here, you can get the Iguana online with a really good draw.
Yeah, looking at this list though, like, oh my gosh, it makes me want to build my own version, right? I want to get I like Trossum, Rapture, right? Aguada, like 2 double Aguada, the Lucky Hats, of course, so that way I can make the Whistle playable, as well as what is the new one? Not Ambush. Summoning. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see that combo start to pop, right? Of all that stuff going on. Like if you can get an Aguada out, like, oh god, turn 1 would be insane. But at least by turn 2,
he's got 2 adults in here. He's got 2 adults in here. If you could, right?
Right. But you're running the Trossum, so you're not eating your mirror image that first round, right? You're only eating your own Rapture would only ever eat. Well, I guess, yeah, the Aguada would have to trigger off of your opposing, though. So you couldn't even eat your own. But you can set it behind your Trossum's mirror image that it throws out there.
Right. I mean, and there's scenarios here, too, where it's, you're able to use the Alistair's Guide in the mirror to move your opponent's mirror image into the Iguada's field.
Yep.
To give your familiar +1, and then you play your adult to knock it out in that field.
Oh,
to
God.
Then get +1 because it's Wild Chase, and then +1 from the Iguana, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so there's some combo play there, but
gosh.
I don't see how he gets that Iguana out.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
no.
see it coming out.
Yeah. Oh, and Fury Potion, like you were saying earlier, to like hit your own adult to bounce it back to hand to do that same combo again. Oh my gosh, yeah. That feels super fun, but he's missing the cards to get the Iguana out early.
Yeah. And I mean, you're playing into the mirror too, so the combo you just described is like reliably every round you can play adult, knock out adult, put adult back in hand, give 2 power, get a VP. Like, you could plug that 4 rounds in a row if you needed to. But without the one tool in this kit, I don't know that right? Like, that's just not as rewarding. And then with the swamp, it's like, well, but don't put the Trossum in the swamp either.
Yep. Yeah.
A couple of missed opportunities here. But he's also ran this deck. So maybe there is something something we're not seeing here. I mean, obviously having the Amptar there, having Sack Bond, the Amptar, the Fury Potion. I mean, is this a lot of like self KO to power up, right?
Oh yeah.
Is there the other side of it that maybe we're not seeing, and that's the side that we're talking about, right?
Right. Yeah. Getting that Fury Potion support in early game with your Trossum, like there's a lot going on there. Yeah, being able, especially with these low VP fields, like that actually starts to make a whole lot more sense. Why he brought these low VP fields is because he's not trying to win them, right? You kick out kind of like with Mew's deck, bringing the low scoring fields. You only really ever need to score the one big field that whatever your opponent brings, right? You just got to worry about scoring that, and then your engine is doing the legwork on the rest of your VP. Yeah, the Fury Potion taking out whatever is scoring you your VP, and your Trossum just bouncing it back to hand to play again. Yeah.
Yeah, or even something as simple as moving the power on a Croshan, right? Knocking out your own Croshan after you moved and got the VP, putting it back in hand. He'll need engines like that for sure. And if you could do it in the same field you had an Amtar Chase.
Yep.
Where you're powering up the familiars in that field or the other creatures in that field.
Yep. Yeah, man, I feel like the Rapture really needs to come in. The Swamp needs to go.
I feel like the ally Rapture, just in this setting right here that we're looking at, no side deck, right? I feel like the two high cost creatures he has in Ferocity are just not tenable. Because if you're trying to build your Hydrofen, you're trying to keep your Amtar out to pump things up, that Rapture is going to eat them. And it would eat your Iguana, it would eat your Bison, it would eat your Trossum. That Rapture ally must be in here for just the other matchups, right? Where he's playing into a wild familiar, or he's playing into, the heavy wild decks that we've seen so far.
Yep.
Because it sure is risky with this setup. And the weird part about this setup too is, God forbid, Chase, what if you have to play the 3-cost Rapture into the Swamp against your opponent? And now he's not gaining block, he's not gaining plus power.
Yeah.
I mean, he has just in his own deck, right? Hydrofen, Amtar, Iguana, Rapture. We can talk about the Tortu as well, but there's not a lot of block in this deck to really, unless you're giving the Lunos block, I guess. Or you have Momentum Shift as a support, and you're giving block. There's not really a whole lot of block, so the Tortu is also a little confusing to me. But, if we're just looking at, those creatures, they all have ongoings, the Swamp is confusing. They're also all wild.
Yep.
Except for the Rapture, who would knock out all of the other ones that you'd need on the board with their ongoings.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion, a lot of head scratching going on with this. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it in action. I just want to be super way off on my estimate, and then he goes a completely different strategy that I did not see coming, and then it just it pans out really well. I love those kind of moments. You have those times where it's man, I really like whenever I can predict, and it's it feels good that I made that call. But other times where you're I don't like having to make this call. Making this call does not feel good. I want to be proved wrong. That kind of feels like what's going on here.
Well, yeah, and I was just thinking too, we fixated a bit on Don Fidel's deck. On the other side of things with Simba, this is something I've been thinking about a lot for the tournament, just when everyone started submitting their decks, right? Is I think experienced players, and Simba I think has played enough to maybe make this call, right? His side deck has 2 Spirits. And we're talking about this whole engine that Don Fidel can get going, right? He just needs the KO. He just needs the Fury Potion and that KO synergy.
Oh, no. Yep.
But you know where I'm going with this, because we've seen people do it before, where it's sure, but what happens when Simba plays a Sparrowed behind the mirror image? So it's protected, you're not hitting it with an auto, right? And now you've lost your Fury Potion.
Yep.
And so there's some we're going over Don Fidel, well, he could swap this and he could swap that. And there's some interesting stuff for Simba too, where It's funny because when you were talking about like everything he has is 2 copies, and then we look at his side deck, and there's a single Whistle and a single Psymonk. And I'll tell you, I've seen him swap out the Lunos for those 2 cards specifically. And then I think things get interesting too. My only question there is, and I brought this up one of the games when we were doing all the practice games. He doesn't have a lot of KO synergy. So the interesting part about the Psymonk is when you see someone like Simba play it against a Ferocity player chase.
Yep.
And so if he's not getting that Trossum where it bounces back to hand, and he's instead Fury Potioning and they are going to the discard, or Sack Bonding and they are going to the discard. You and I have both been on the other end of a Ballast Whistle that pulls a Psymonk and like a a Lunos or something out of the deck, the full 6 power.
Yeah.
And then that Psymonk rips value out of your own discard, and that's another goofy thing that maybe Simba sees in this. And maybe he comes in and he doesn't just use the full deck. Maybe it is just, hey, I'm actually not running, these 2 Skyer, and I'm instead doing Psymonk and Whistle. Because I don't need the Skyer. That's not needed for what he's playing against. There's a scenario where that happens. And because he has the 2 hats, the ability to hat Whistle is going to be easier for him to access as well with this deck.
That is such a nasty combo. Like, Whistle for a 4 cost and a 3 cost. That is 7 cost you got for 3. Oh, gosh.
From the deck. Yeah, from the deck. You didn't. You're right. You spent 1 card and 3 resources to get 2 cards. 7 resource worth of stuff. The question is, because with those plays, I watched, and we're playing games, me and Noah, and I think I told you this story, but like, I watched him use Summoning and pull a Psymonk out of his deck, and I had nothing in my discard. So then what is the value of the Psymonk, right? It's just a 2-power creature then.
Yeah, that feels bad.
If you got it with a Whistle, that's probably fine. But, when you get it with Summoning, you get the -2 power, so it's really a 0 power creature.
Oh, yeah.
And then you also have to discard a card randomly, so, like, you pay a heavy price. At least with the Whistle, it's a 2-power body, and he's building the Unity Tactics. So there is at least that.
Where are these
I find
guys?
it funny too.
With all this discussion, I'm just like, I'm chomping at the bit to see this game in action. So hopefully they show up
I was
soon.
just gonna say, did you notice that Simba's side deck is all wild creatures? Because we were talking about all of his early game creatures, Chase, are all tame. But then you look at the side deck and it's like Sparrow Airing, yep, double wild. Psymonk, yep, there's a wild. So all this wild stuff is just buried off to the side.
Yeah, I was thinking about the airing, like, if you know you're playing against a Trossum, bringing the airing kind of makes a little bit of sense there. Just to be able to keep clearing that Guardian. That's another, way to clear out yet another Guardian. I just don't know if it's worth it just to clear out a mirror image, Like,
well,
assuming you have a follow-up. You got to have the follow-up. At least airing has the speed, so you can clear that mirror image and then follow it up with the Skyer, right? Or the drill attack. There's several different things in there, so I'm just.
Well, yeah, that really is like if you're doing what you said, the Whistle into an airing and a Skyer, because there's your 6 power.
Yeah.
And you use the airing right, like you said, you clear out the Guardian, and then the Skyer can go to work. This will be fun. So fun part too is normally when we see mirrors, it's not the annoying mirrors. And I would say that Trossum is maybe the most annoying mirror in the game, because just the board fills up with Guardian and mirror images. Like when you see a Chrism matchup, it's fine. I think what was it? Jamie and Sam, right, in the second bracket, because we're in the first bracket. Jamie and Sam in the second bracket are both Chrism players, but one has the owl, the illusion, and then one has the Glaciafly, right? So like that matchup is a more interesting mirror to me, because Chrism is just the door to might cards, and it's just a huge creature. This one. This one is such an annoying one because, I'll deploy Trossum for a mirror image. I too will deploy Trossum for a mirror image.
Yeah, I have found myself not liking running Vortnail if I'm running Trossum. And both of them are running double Vortnail with their Trossum. It's
Okay.
just...
I will admit, most of the time I agree with you. Simba's deck, though, is the exception, and it's all because of Unity Tactics.
Right. I mean, but also with Don Fidel running Ferocity also to be able to clear out your own stuff. Like, both players are doing it, but they're doing it literally the only, like, exception to the rule, right? Is like, okay, you're running Vortnail with Trossum, but you're running the combo pieces that it actually makes sense to do that with. But in most situations, or in a lot of other situations, I don't say most, but in a lot of other situations, yeah, it's just too much. It's just way too much. Too many bodies.
Right. Seeing on the Don Fidel side, and you've done this, right, playing tactics, where you do I'm going to play the Amtar, I'm going to play the Vortnail, and I'm going to have an Amtar, one of the familiars, the Vortnail, and the Vortnail's mirror image. They're all going to be in the same field, right? And then you sack Bond, that mirror image, and now suddenly the Vortnail and the familiar got +1 power. You got a resource, you get to draw a card. That's great play, great line, excellent. On Simba's side, the ability to round one we did the math, right, with how many Guardians he has. Round one, Chase, this guy can have a Guardian in every field. And then you get into, again, Unity Tactics with the hat. Chase, Simba could reasonably pull off Unity Tactics round 2.
Oh my gosh.
And then that would be, how would you come back from that? Because let's say he did it without even wanting the VP, right? Because he has 2 Unity Tactics. He just goes into that match. He goes into it and says, you know what? Round 1, I'm going to play, I get the mirror image from the Trossum. I'm going to play a Vortnail, so that puts 5 on the board, right?
Yep.
Let's say he plays a Croshan or a Terrorchick or an Ignice, and it doesn't matter. So he's got 4 allies on the board. Going into the next round, when he actually has 3 resources in his row, right? The Trossum puts down a 5th ally, and the Chrism is on board with block.
Yep.
So if we don't see Don Fidel come out with removal for him, like you're saying, run the Rapture, or be aggressive round 1 with, you're not going to Skyer, but he's got to be aggressive round 1. God, I'll be honest with you, it literally would have to be the auto for him. If he doesn't have 1 removal there and Simba times it right, and let's be honest, if Simba has a hat and Unity Tactics, he could still do it even if Don Fidel's played the auto both rounds. That's the nuts part about this lineup Simba's got. That is the nuts part.
It's kind of funny though, looking at this reprieve. I feel like he's going to be winning these fields a lot of times, right? Because you got the Chrism, or you've got the Trossum, which is 5 power versus both your opponent's 5 power familiars as well. So like, oof, reprieve can be a little awkward.
But does he, in this matchup, does Simba need the reprieve, right?
Right.
I don't think so. And remember, reprieve is for the field. So if Don Fidel makes a mistake and maybe tries to go all in on a plateau where Simba throws just as Trossum, Chase.
Yep.
Now you're put in a situation where it's an 8 power Trossum, he's got the 2 points, and then he's winning probably the other fields just looking at, the makeup here. And again, like I said, if he could Unity Tactic round 2, name the situation where like you don't see a Terrapian hitting like the next round, right? Here's 3 points, because well, how wouldn't you? You have six, 7 creatures on the board, and 5 or 6 of them have plus power and block. I mean, if he gets the right setup here, this could get goofy really quick. And I think like when we talked about the Judges deck, right, and Ride My Avatar and Mew's matchup, we talked about the Judges deck. Obviously, that's a factor here, because that, to me, looking at the decks, is, I mean, Chase, that's the difference between Don Fidel having a 50-50 shot or it being a like 60-40-ish feeling for me. Especially because Simba doesn't have the amulet, right? He doesn't have the movement every round the way he would.
Yep.
With it. Yeah, this'll be goofy. This'll be goofy to see. I will just say, I think if we start getting all the fields are active, I think Simba has a really good shot of taking this early. And I think if we get a lot of slowdowns where it's, a 3, a 3, a 2, and only 2 of them are active,
yep,
then I'll give it the toss up, right? Because of the 2 reprieves on both sides.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, Simba has double Unity Tactics, double Terpian,
and Terpian. Yeah. If it gets, I think that's the problem, right? Is like if it gets to late game, he has an advantage, but Don Fidel almost needs it to get to late game because he has a 3 and a 2 field no matter, or a 3 and a 3 maybe, yep. Right? Yeah, that's that's funny too, because this was actually, I wrote this down when we were talking about like the matchups here between the 8. When we did the random card draw for the 2 brackets, this was actually the match that I rated, full disclosure, in my head was going to be the least interesting.
Really?
Yeah. Well, just because again, there's so much Guardian, and not one of them have like the blanket removal, right? Like we see Sam and Jay Johnny's matchup, right? There was a lot of like Sune Stick and Sune 6 special attacks, right? Flying everywhere. Jay Johnny, of course, has the tactics special deck like Mew has, but in the opposite bracket. But he has the Haunted Glade, right? So there's removal just in the field. And then remember, he's got like the double-edged hit. He's got, so that it felt like, well, and then he has Auto, and of course he has Vesper, and so you can trigger that KO every single round. So it felt like, yowzers, there was a lot of removal in that matchup. And I just feel like in this matchup, we're not going to see a lot of removal. Boards are going to go wide. If they go wide, does that favor Simba? How does the Judges deck respond? Like I said, that is the one thing that I'm like, ooh, I don't know, man.
Yep. But then, again, that I think comes back to that Shaper magic, though. It's like Simba running 2 of them in the main is, I think, going to help. In just in case, it's a great just in case. As I was saying in the earlier, it's like, oh, maybe having mulligan into it deliberately, just so that way, just in case, you can have it, because of you don't know what happens with the Judges deck. So, all right, looks like both have arrived. Let's see if we can get at least Don Fidel in here.
They were both waiting for us to finish the discussion to hear what we thought about what they should or shouldn't side deck.
Right? They're like, oh yeah, this is great info, okay. And then it's just like, man, they threw out so much information, I don't know if there is a right answer.
The book is just a giant circled question. I do.
Indeed.
Okay, so after this match, fun note as well. Oh, Simba. After this match, all round 1 matches will get recorded, and then Don will end up posting them, I think, tomorrow. The whole bracket, like where everyone is and what the plus minus is. Do you want me to jump off? Are you gonna move? Are you gonna move Simba in there?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and move him in here.
I can jump off and go facilitate community night here in 20 minutes, so you can.
Oh, right. Well, I won't be able to really judge them just because I have to mute them. I can't leave them active while trying to commentate because it's just way too much information overload.
Understood. Understood.
All right, let's go ahead. Yeah, Simba's there, so let's go and move him. Hello, Simba.
Testing.
Hey, we can hear you. Oh,
Yeah.
Don Fidel's here too as well. Perfect.
First half works.
You hear us, we hear you. That's a good sign.
We've only been talking about you for like an hour long now.
Yep.
Hell yeah. That's yay.
Just critiquing your real life decisions, your decks, you know, all that good stuff.
That's very valid.
Have no regrets.
We joked that you guys were actually listening before jumping in, so you got all of our thoughts and feelings written down before starting. You're just all really confused too, because of course we were fence sitting the whole time. No one picked winners and losers. We definitely don't have money on the game, guys.
Yep. No money. Just betting our Series 0 alphas.
Right.
Oh, there you go. Yes, definitely not betting real products.
So where's the bet going to?
Well, I can't say that before the match. That would be uncouth. No one would like that. Integrity would be ruined.
Yeah, because then someone could just throw, and then that's not cool.
Yeah, we're all friends here. We're all civilized human beings.
Yeah, and you know what friends do to each other? They mess with each other, and you would absolutely throw just to be able to mess with one of your friends.
Well, now see, yeah, if we were fully disclosing, I did not bet on either of you.
Come on.
So we will be streaming this on the main Wildhearts YouTube channel.
Okay.
But if you're either, but you also need to make content for your own channels as well, or wherever you're, wherever you make content. So either streaming for yourself or recording for like a later video.
Dawn says do it. She doesn't want to have to make threats, guys.
Doesn't want to have to
She
make
means-
threats.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
no.
means business. That I said logically that is a threat, Dawn, and she doesn't care. She's not messing around.
She doesn't care at all. Respect.
No, she wants it. No, you're not getting the message. She needs you to do it. And if you don't do it, she's not going to threaten you, but she is threatening you.
Got it. So I'm just making sure how to
Right. Right.
set up to do the stream, the record and everything. I have, first of all, let's make sure this PC has space. Are we good? Just audio through here, doesn't matter. Since we're gonna have desktop. Mute this. I think
Beedly beep.
So do you guys have like the deck set up for us ready in the in a game or a room, or do we
Sure
set
do.
up the room?
Y'all set up the room, but the decks are already set up within the mod. So
Oh,
We
so I
got
can
this.
just log in right now and it'll be there.
sure is.
Let's start. Can't wait to try my janky deck.
Yeah, I feel that.
I would say one is definitely more
I
janky
feel
than
that.
the other.
But one is more janky than the other.
Yeah.
That's super fair.
But I'm
Right.
not going to tell you which
Okay.
one. That's the fun part.
Well, if you make it in, shoot me a link. Feel free, and I will join up.
So how do I do this?
I believe in you. Hey, that's probably
Okay,
always
what's
the
up,
answer. Press buttons.
Press buttons. I often just yell at my keyboard, and that usually solves the issue.
Nice. Okay, that's full screen.
I don't think you can do it from within, though, right? You have to be in the lobby before you go in.
Yep.
Like the
Yep.
vacant seat area.
Yep.
Oh, okay, so let's go back. So if I'm hosting, add a seat.
Nope, there's a little share button right beneath that.
Yeah, the three little dots.
Chase, John is going to jump into Judge so that I can run Community Night if that's okay.
Awesome. Yeah. As long as there's someone here, because, yeah, I'll have to mute and deafen myself so you guys can't hear my commentary, because that would be
Sure.
way too helpful. And I can't commentate while also listening to you guys because it's like information overload. So I'm
How
going
about
to
others?
give you guys a judge.
I will be leaving you guys in John's hand. He is here. So if you need anything, you just say Judge. John will answer. And do everything right or else.
Got it.
Oh, valid. Yes.
Yeah. And then Chase, just let John know if you're seeing anything that needs to be corrected. I
Yep.
will go take care of some stuff, and then in a hot 13 minutes, I'll go sit in the old community night room. And John, I appreciate the heck out of you subbing, bud.
No problem.
We lost Dawn to a match that she had to play earlier, and Gareth is no longer with us.
I gotta
I like that.
phrase it
There's
like
no
that.
there's no ill will, Chase. There's no
No
ill
ill
will.
will. Yep. No ill will or bad blood, but Gareth has moved on to a better place. Dinner
There's
with
that.
his family.
I'm skipping dinner for this, all right? That's how committed I am.
Are you
No.
skipping it or are you just delaying it?
I'm just delaying it. Let's be real. There's no way I'm skipping dinner.
Okay. There it is.
Were you able to get the share button?
Yeah, if you can put it in open gaming so that Jen can also jump in as a spectator.
I am
It
in
doesn't
the
mean-
room. Assuming the link Don Fidel posted is the one, I am already here.
There's a link posted?
Yeah,
Where's
it's
the
on,
link?
in locker room like a minute ago.
Oh, I was in open gaming. My bad.
Yeah,
No,
same.
We were
worries.
We were
In
looking
the locker
where we-
room. Oh, locker room open chat? Got it.
Sure is. There it is.
There it is.
Locker room
Alright, guys.
open chat.
Have fun.
Alrighty. Well, hopefully I don't have to do anything. I'll just be a fly on the wall, but holla if you need me.
Holla. I know that I can press I to pull up the so.
Let's go here.
No capture.
Boom.
Why is it capturing Discord? Did I capture? Oh no. It looks better. If I just did. How is this still? else is capturing Discord. I want to capture.
Yeah, I will have a streamlined setup by next week. This was make it work.
I guess I'll do.
Okay. Oh, we're in. Some scrolling. Let's
Do it like this. Sure, why not? This will have to do.
Oh, we got like card backs and stuff. Let's go.
Yeah.
6 cards sideboard then, I guess.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Oh, wait, 2.
So yeah, if there's any sideboarding that you need to do, go ahead and do it now.
Okay.
In sideboard B game 1.
Well, it's a best of one, so you can
really?
you can sideboard beforehand between games and leave it sideboarded. So I know it's a little weird, it's a little janky, but we wanted to be as forgiving as possible for you guys. So in case after week 1 you're like, this was a terrible card to put in my deck, I don't want to play with this for the rest of the tournament.
I'll go in or go home. Okay, I have yet to learn, how do you pick up the whole deck and move it?
So you just left click it once, and then click it a second time, and then drag. Now, because you have stuff stacked on there, it might not work because of the fields and stuff like that. Because the fields technically aren't in the deck. So,
Yeah, so let's say.
Oh, the fields are what's on top.
yes, that's why they have
Got
the weird backs.
Got it.
Left click again.
Yeah, so click it
Not
once,
working.
and it'll highlight the whole deck, and then click it a second time.
Roger. 'Cause when I. Oh, I'm right clicking. 1. Ah,
There,
it works.
yeah, there you go.
Something new. Okay.
You are blue side, so you're going to be on. Yeah, let me just say left and right because I'm sure that'll help. You're on the mirror image side, if that helps. If you look at the mirror image and special attack stacks, you're on the mirror image side, Don Fidel.
Okay, so I am on
The other side.
the side.
Yeah.
There, yep.
Yeah, that's going better now. Gaming. Wow. There.
I'm not sure where your familiars are, though.
I think mine was on the top of my deck. I have now since deck next.
Want to. You won't flip the whole deck. Okay.
F. Oh, there's your 2 familiars.
Now will it flip the whole deck? Okay. Yeah, I guess it didn't do it because of the familiars. Interesting.
Yeah, because familiars technically should never be, like, shouldn't get put face down.
Well, if you click on it and press R, it shuffles. Guess I'll leave my fields.
I am just putting my. Oh. Oh, nice.
This is gonna be interesting.
There's the other.
Yeah, the Trossel mirror matches definitely an interesting one.
I thought about Chrism and Drossum, but I thought of something else.
All right. Well, I'm going to leave you guys to it. I'm going to go ahead and mute and deafen myself. And again, if you have any questions, mod questions, judge questions, John is here, and he is very well versed with it all. So he's got you covered.
Awesome.
Yep, and Gareth also has returned too. So if we can also escalate if need be. So feel free to ask anything.
Sweet.
All right, it is just me now, so you just have to listen to my voice for the rest of the evening. For anyone that just jumped all the way to the match video, the time is now. All right, and it looks like Simba's just doing some deck checks on himself there. I'm curious if he's sideboarding. I know that Chris and I, we talked about him sideboarding, and in case he did, I'm very curious if he's doing it right now. What is going on with some of these cards? Look at that one. Oh, it's all sideways. Oh no. He's got the tokens in there. I don't think he realizes he has the tokens selected.
I wait till I gather them together, like put them all in one.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
have
definitely-
you have the tokens selected, so it's not letting you because the plus and the 0 power.
Grab them.
Can I grab all of them?
You grabbed half of 2 different stacks somehow.
I don't even know how that's possible.
I don't either. It's very, very impressive.
Now I guess I just have to shift click them all and drop them into the deck.
Hey,
There you
now
go.
you're getting there.
Let's go.
All right. Okay, looks like he's finally got that figured out. Yeah, Tabletopia is a bit of a learning curve at times. And if anybody has any questions that they would like answered before we get started, definitely feel free to throw it in chat. I am here. I'm doing my best to monitor multiple screens at once, so... Man, they are shuffling like nobody's business there. All right, and so this is gonna be one of the telling things right off the get go here of what does Don Vidal kick, which field, because he's gonna have the priority. He's got the chance here. I still stand by my earlier statement. I think you still get rid of the Windy Plateau. That big 5 victory points with dealing with the Chrism is really, really difficult. Unless you start your hand with a Shaper Magic. Looks like they're both reading, seeing what each other brought. Yeah, because just that 5 VP, like, just going to get out of control so fast. Is he getting rid of the falls? He got rid of the falls. Wow, okay. So he must be trying then to go for the just leave my fields alone and just try to win the Windy Plateau. That's what we saw with Miyu's deck, right? Was like the two different 2 VP fields, and then you just try to score whatever big VP field your opponent brought, and then you just like let the others sit there, and then you use your VP gaining cards then. You know, your adults and your Crotians and stuff like that to gain you the rest of your VPs. Which with the Trossum in conjunction with Ferocity is really cool for that play in particular, I must say. Like, because you can, like, Fury Potion and clear out your own allies. Trossum bounces those allies back to hand, and you just play them again for more VP gain. I'm curious if that's what he's going with, though, because that's they were talking about which deck is more janky. The one with all the one-ofs, I think, is the more janky one, but there's some really cool potential synergy that he can do, and some really fun, cool combos to like generate an exceptional amount of VP. Alright, so they need to be resolving Mulligan, which they have not yet. Technically, you are supposed to resolve Mulligan before deciding which field to kick. So, because that can definitely factor in whether you keep a card or not. Like seeing this and then knowing, okay, I need to draw into like my Shaper Magic. So I know I have to mulligan to try to get my Shaper Magic now because of the choice that was made, right? Definitely it's also kind of amusing seeing people use Tabletopia all differently. Like they both put 7 cards in their hand, right? Simba just did the right click, draw 7, but Don Fidel did like select 7, the top 7 cards of the deck, pull them out, and then drag those 7 cards into the hand. So it's just very interesting seeing that. I don't know if either player plays into the swamp here. Like you could send the Skyson over there, like move it into there, just because you're not going to get that ongoing in round 1. There's just no way. So putting the Skyson there is actually pretty easy because Simba's not going to want to put either of his Trossum or Chrism there, I don't think. Usually, the Chrism actually is pretty safe there because Don Fidel doesn't have a ton of ways to remove the block. And there he is getting his bonus card for having the initiative token. Doesn't look like... so Simba's not going to mulligan, though, because he's drawn his. Don Fidel looks like he's debating which familiar to put out. So I don't think he's going to mulligan either here. So both players happy with their starting hands. So Simba will be on the play here. I mean, you shotgun Chrism into the Windy Plateau, right? It's pretty obvious, I feel like. Go ahead and throwing down their resources. Just a face down from Simba. No support. Which I feel like is to be expected. I think Simba only had 2 different cards, is what we saw with supports. So the chances of we seeing it, we might see 1 support this whole game. But only 1 from Don Fidela as well, a face down, no support there. I do find that one a little bit more surprising. Alright, Simba, where are you going? He's hovering over the Chrism and then hovering over the swamp, which I think is pretty wild. Looking at that Sumner Peak there. The Sumner Peak is only 2 VP, though, so it's not... Like, winning it, though, is really nice, because being able to give that 3 power onto one of your allies is pretty... Wow, okay. That's the one I expected the least out of, so... Huh, Interesting. Okay. So you go Skyson middle and then move. I would move it to the swamp myself. I think that's just such an interesting play choice. Because your opponent doesn't want to put their Trossum there. Just clarifying what the ability is there on the Skyson probably. Go ahead and show you guys what they're working with here. So yeah, that Skyson debut moves Skyson and a friendly ally in this field to an adjacent field. Then that ongoing, as I was talking about earlier, seeing it in the first 2 rounds is pretty rare. During the scoring phase, if you have 3 or less cards in your hand, Skyson has +3 power. So he does go for the Windy Plateau, just wanting those raw VP. I can absolutely respect it for sure. But this means, I don't know, like I feel like that was the better choice for Trossum. Because unless you're going to double up with your Trossum, because Trossum does not need to go into the swamp, I don't think. Because then you lose out on your ongoing. And losing out on the ongoing on Trossum is like really, really, really scary. Simba just not sure how to deal with this swamp, I don't think. He's just... It's definitely a scary one. Yeah, non-magic creatures' ongoing effects do not trigger in this field. And Trossum is not a magic creature, so no ongoing there. No bounce when your stuff gets KO'd. Oh, whoa, okay. He really wants those 2 victory points, it would seem. I wonder if there's a Shaper Magic in hand. And this is all just an elaborate ploy. And then, like, swaps over, like, unexpectedly. That would be pretty cool. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I think I would have gone Trossum into the Windy Plateau, throw my mirror image into the swamp. Just to have at least a 1-power body down there to win it, you know? If your opponent doesn't want to play in it either, no one wants to go play in the swamp. It's crazy. Who would have thought, you know? Wow, both players doing kind of the similar thing here. That's a surprise. Like, your 1 mirror image is not going to compete with the Trossum and the Chrism. Like, why not put it in the swamp, you know? All right, Judge's deck. Where are they playing this round? Or not playing, rather, is the question. Give it a good shuffle there.
Oh my goodness!
And we see... Slow it down. Oh, gosh, that is not what Don Fidel wants to see right now. The field with the most VP is inactive this round. So field 3 going off, Windy Plateau offline. See, now if someone had put a mirror image down there in that swamp, man, that's 3 VP instantly. Not really, but it is amusing nonetheless. Both of their mirror image placements just cracks me up. All right, so Simba is on the play here. Someone's got to play a card down there. If it's 3 VP, you can't just not. Oh, going for both resources out the gate here. You seeing a Tortu? I bet it's Tortu. There it is. Yep. Tortu debut gains block. So now he's just a nice little sticky boy. Hard to clear out of that field. Now, granted, there's plenty of cards in Don Fidel's deck that can overpower it, right? A couple 1-drops. You do a Vortnail and I don't know, any of your other 1-drops. I guess not any. You don't want to do an Oddalt. Anything besides an Oddalt will at least tie you the field with a Vortnail. And does have inspiration available. I usually try to save my inspiration when it's when I can score a higher VP field, like if I was going to be, able to score the Windy Plateau this round. All right, so there's one. We see the Amptar coming down for Don Fidel, so he's got that ongoing, which is not gonna matter. But he has a KO effect, gain 1 VP, and give a friendly creature in the field Amptar was in +1 power. So the ongoing is not gonna matter because he is not a magic creature. But he is still a 3 power 1-drop. So one more of those. Oh, looks like he's debating the inspiration. Nope, he's just gonna pass. All right, so passing, keeping the first player token for next round. So forcing Don Fidel to do something. Actually, it might not even matter, unfortunately, because the Summoner Peakster is gonna get scored before the swamp. And when you win this field, give a friendly ally +3 power. If he gives that to the Tortu, then that's an 8 power Tortu right there. So probably not going to matter what Don Fidel does in this situation, actually. He might be losing both these fields in this situation. So maybe just accept it and go in for, I don't know, like an Alistair's Guide, maybe? Just to try to dig, so that way you've got a nice grip for the next round. Maybe go for a Summoner Peak. Sorry, not a Summoner Peak. A Shaper Magic. I don't know how a Shaper Magic helps you here, though, because you really need to move all 3 fields, right? You need to put the Arcanum Swamp in 2. You could win the Summoner Peak. No, you'd still lose it. Yeah, there's just not really anywhere to go with this. Going for our sacrificial bond here. KO a friendly ally to draw a card and add this as an exhausted resource. So realizing that you're not going to score it, I mean, I would probably take out the Amptar, right, for the KO effect. Nope, I'm wrong again. They do nothing but surprise me. I thought going for the Amptar for that VP gain. Oh, but there's not even a friendly creature. Yeah, that's not a ton of value. It's a little bit of value, but not as much. And that was with speed, although Simba's already passed. Oh, going for a Lady Seer here. So a debut may discard a random card from your hand, give an opposing creature in this field -4 power. Tortu has block, though, so that the only thing he's going to get out of this is removing the block, which is going to feel kind of bad. But at least setting it up to remove it later on. Has to discard something, though. What is going to get discarded? Hopefully it's nothing too important. Ooh, a Lunos. Like, not the worst, not the best, very, very middle of the road. Kind of like what Lunos is, right? Lunos is just a very generic... Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Block, block, block. There it goes. All right. John is in there with them, so just in case he's got them. So yeah, losing the Lunos just to remove a block, and you're still not gonna be able to win these fields. Assuming, again, this is assuming Simba sees the play there of you just need to put that +3 power down there. But all of these plays just to get 5 VP. Like, it's not even a ton. It's a pretty low amount. And Don Fidel's, going to be kind of set up for a future turn. He's at 1 extra resource ahead here. That's going to be helpful. He's got the Amptar in play now, so he can just, KO it whenever he feels like to get that extra VP. He has someone to at least give that bonus power to this time, so not sure what players are discussing in this moment. So there it goes, scores that. Now it gets to put that 3 power onto somewhere. And this is, yep, you put it on the Tortu. And then you win that field as well. Yep, so 8 versus the 5 there. So that's another 3 VP for Simba, taking the early lead. And there it is. Alright, familiars will retreat back to the bench now. Simba will get that extra draw, which is pretty important. We talked about that early in the pregame show of that he doesn't have a ton of draw power in his deck, so he needs to be the first person to pass every single round. But he has all of his stuff is such a high cost that he's not really going to be playing a ton of cards. So it goes up to 9 here. And Don Fidel only drawing 2. But he played a lot more cards, though. And he also had a discard. So, yeah, there's 4 cards out of that first round there. So, resourcing first. Oh, there we see the Fury Potion. Okay, this is one of the plays. Fury Potion support. You may KO a friendly ally to give a friendly familiar +2 power. The Trossum ongoing. Each round when your first non-token ally is KO'd, put them into your hand instead. So, you Fury Potion intentionally, keep KOing your own stuff that generates VP, right? So you KO the Amptar here with the Fury Potion. He just goes back to hand. You gain the VP. You're giving out bonus power. You just play the Amptar right back out to set it up for another round of being KO'd. And this is when playing Ferocity, for me, is really fun because it's one of those styles that it's like, it's Ferocity. There's give and take. All right, now we're seeing the Chrism come over here to the Windy Plateau. That's the play I expected the first round, and now we see it. Maybe Simba was just like predicting the future and knew that it was going to be turned off. But yeah, this is the part of Ferocity that I really like, is like, yeah, I'm having to lose out on stuff and like discard or KO my own creatures. But when you pair it up with something like a Trossum, then what normally would be considered a negative, you can actually turn it into a positive. So a double positive, offsetting those the negatives of the playing Ferocity is really nice. Now, it does mean you're shoehorned into playing a certain way, but it's still one of the many ways to play Ferocity. It's just one of the ways I like to do it. All right, we're seeing that Skyson come down, and I would imagine he's going to move the Amptar out of that field, right? Not being able to have your ongoing of your Amptar. Yep, there it is. Also, that Tortu being an 8 power, the Tortu is as big as the Chrism is right now. Like, that's crazy. That Chrism should be blocked as well. Alright, so here we're going to see the Trossum come out. Yep. I imagine putting it with the Tortu, because the Tortu lost his block, so he needs a little bit of protection. So, yes, these are the plays that I would be making. Absolutely 100%. So, sometimes that first round, players just kind of like, they start to forget. They're like, oh, I haven't played in a few days, and they kind of forget the strategy of their deck. and they play that first round, they're like, wait, I blundered through that. Now I remember how to play my deck and what my strategy is, and then they start to really, amp their game up. So I think we're seeing that now. Plays are making a lot more sense now. Don Fidel playing gotta play the Trossum somewhere. I mean, you probably play it to the Windy Plateau. I mean, you're still going to be behind, but I mean, where else would you play it, right? That you got to try to win that 5 VP if it shows up. Yep. And then what? You put that. I don't know where you put that really. Maybe in the middle. Yeah, just to protect your guys, because field 3 is not. That Tortu is really behind the mirror image is a lot to deal with right now. All right, Judge's card. Where are we going? Or not going? Switch it up. Oh no, player of initiative switches in a field in play with a reserve field. Then no field is inactive this round. This could be super scary for one player, depending on what happens in this moment. So you have to bring in the reserve field, and you have to get rid of something. Now this is Simba, so I imagine you get rid of the swamp for your own field. I think that's the play. Yeah, because they're doing really well in field 2, right? They've got a decent amount of power there, but it's only a 2 VP field. So if you put something, your field in for 3, you're gonna have a little bit more synergy. Also, it makes that Tortu so much bigger. High windfall when scoring. The creature with the highest power here has +3. If tied, no creature has plus power. Or gains the plus power there. Or has it, yeah. It's not gains, but... yeah, so that is an 11 powered Tortu. Love to see it. Don't mind my child in the background. She is playing her own games, having fun. So Simba just playing it slow here. Going with the Lucky Hat. And I did miss out earlier. He did put a Shaper Magic as a support. Swap 2 friendly allies in different fields. So this is really good. Shaper Magic with the mirror images. Because then you can just basically swap any of your creatures with a mirror image in the field you need it to be in. So if depending on where power ends up, he can whenever he uses that Shaper Magic resource to play for a card, then you can use that support then to slide that Tortu wherever it needs to go. But I think it's in a pretty good position where it's at right now. This could be a very quick game if Simba scoops up another 8 points, or I've 8 on top of the 5 from last round. That is going to be wild. So, but Don Fidel does have an extra resource here. He does have the Fury Potion combo that we talked about earlier. He definitely needs to try to win that Windy Plateau, though. I think that is definitely the better choice to try to deal with. He does have access to his inspiration as well, so if he needs to move anything, he can. Maybe going amped, like Fury Potion, eat your Amptar for the VP gain, and juice up your Skyson, and then move the Skyson over into field 1 with the Windy Plateau. Now, he is playing Ferocity, but there is no Judge's Decree here. So there is no slamming down a Judge's Decree. There is that Chrism block, finally. We all knew it was there. He was blocking. In our hearts. He was ready for it, no matter what. Oh my gosh. The counter plays with another Lucky Hat. That's actually pretty funny. It's like, what, you don't want to make a move? Fine. I'm not going to make a move either. I do love the Lucky Hat. Now leave this card in play. The next card you play from your hand costs -1. Then discard this card. So yeah, Simba now has to commit to something here, right? He can literally play any card in his deck right now. He has the resources to do so. Even if he sided in the Psymonk, he could technically use it. Which, honestly, Psymonk right now, grab that Lunos would be kind of amusing. I don't know if it's a good use of 4 resources worth of stuff for 1 Lunos, but, you know, I guess it depends on what your hand is. It's 7 cards. It should be plenty playable. Dawn Fidel only having 3, though, is kind of scary for him, just because that's not a lot to work with. But again, there's that Trossum, so the Trossum can just bounce something back to hand. Yeah, definitely want to use that Fury Potion to get some value back, I think. Hey, but Skyson will be online with that ongoing, assuming it doesn't... Oh yeah, there's no swamp anymore. I was like, assuming it doesn't go to the swamp. But during the scoring phase, if you have 3 or less cards in your hand, Skyson has +3 power. Simba taking a big long think here. Simba does have a lot of reactionary cards in his deck, though. When we were looking at it earlier, it's very much a reactive, what is my opponent doing? Because that determines what I do. And when your opponent just plays a lucky hat right back in your face after you did, it's hard to react to that. Maybe debating a Skyer here, so that way he can't cycle that Amtar back. Yeah, shuffling the mirror image into the deck is kind of amusing, but yeah, clear the mirror image, that way you can get to the Amtar. I don't think there's any need for the Shaper Magic still, though. I would just keep it sitting in a reserve until I needed it. I'd use something else. Use one of your blank resources. Yeah, that Skyson now sitting at 8 power, though. Like, that's pretty good. With the inspiration moving it to go help in field 1. And you gotta make a move somewhere here, though. Come on, Simba. What you got? Man, it's like the World Championship. Gotta really think that play out. Man, I'm just getting hungry sitting here. I don't have the plays to distract me. I'm just thinking about needing food. I had a really big lunch, though. I made like a seafood ramen with salmon and shrimp. It was very good, but it like filled me up. So like I didn't feel hungry until like just now, kind of late at night. Not the best time to eat, as most people know. Man, what is going on? He's not gonna make a move. I'm gonna turn off deafen right quick just so I can hear what's happening.
Alrighty.
Sweet.
I will then first play. Since Lucky Hat says the next card costs.
Okay, sounded like technical difficulties. So it wasn't a big long thing. It was a technical difficulties. All right, we're seeing a Lunos come down here. Hopefully playing it in field 1. All right, I don't know why I clicked off of it. Choose 2 of the following. Draw 2 cards. He's got a pretty good grips right now. I don't think that's needed. +2 power might be one. KO an opposing ally in this field. There's not one. And then Lunos gains block. So what? Gain 2, gain block. Oh, it looks like he's going to go for the draw. Yeah, going to go for the draw instead. And I'll have to be careful with that because he's 1 card over the hand limit for the end of round. Still has one resource though, so can very easily play one more card. That definitely makes dealing with field 1 a lot more difficult. Yeah, I guess you don't really need to gain block when you're sitting behind the mirror image. So that's 15 power there to the Trossum's 5. I mean, even if you move the Skyson with the Inspiration, you're still 2 shy of tying. But he also hasn't played any cards yet, and he's sitting on a Lucky Hat. So he essentially has 5 resources worth of stuff he can use right now. And by he, I mean Don Fidel. Plenty of things he's control. I say plenty. He only has 3 cards in his hand, so they need to be some really, really powerful cards. I don't know what they could be in this exact instance that would be super helpful. Again, I think you just use the Fury Potion, maybe on the Amptar here. Yeah, use it on the Amptar, power up the Skyson even more. Yeah, because you would essentially be giving 3 power to the Skyson. The 1 from the Amptar and the 2 from the Fury Potion. And you gain a VP, and you can play the Amptar back out. And when your hand is hurting like his appears to be, I think that is definitely the call to do. Nothing else is coming to mind. But again, we don't know what's in his hand, so who knows? Yeah, you just gotta let field 3 go right now. There's just no dealing with it. Unless you have a Skyer. A Skyer would work because you could just send both back. Skyer in this matchup is really actually pretty good. Being able to clear the Guardian and then clear the second body. That's like you just think is super well protected. Either the Tortu or the Lunos. Yep, Lucky Hat, where you going? Okay, looks like we finally got a play here. We're seeing that hidden powers come down. Move a friendly creature and ignoring Guardian. KO the opposing ally with the highest power in their field. So good in this mirror match. Well done. Fury Potion now. Kill your Amptar. Right? Oh, going for the Lady Seer? No, definitely go for the Amptar. Because you can just play the Amtar right back out. You don't have the hand resources to play out another Lady Seer. Oh, okay. That's scary. Yeah, I would have definitely done the Amtar. Because Amtar would have given another power and a VP. And then you just play it right back out to Fury Potion it again next round. I guess his like thought process was probably like field 3 is abandon all hope. There's no point. I'm just gonna get out of here. But I still think the other play, the better play would be the Amtar, because you could also like given all that to the Skyson and then move the Skyson over. So it's not like you would have lost out on gaining some bonus power. Oh, Simba's got 9 cards to choose from. Instead of, oh my gosh, I only have, a few things to choose from. I better make it count. I have so many choices. I have decision paralysis at this point. But he's still in a great position. Like, losing the Lunos did hurt, though. Like, the Lucky Hat and 2 resources were spent on that. Does still have the Shaper Magic, though. Can use that support, swap the Tortu with the Mirror Image. I mean, he's already abandoned the Falls, so you just have your 2 power sitting there, and then a bunch of power in the Windy Plateau. Winning the Windy Plateau is a little bit more high priority, I think, than winning the Highwind Falls. Right, because he can win field 2 and 3, and it still barely equalizes with winning that one single field. And then, you just maintain your lead at that point. You still have that 5. Okay, going for the Vortnail here, so that debut is going to give him another Mirror Image token. Player 1 Mirror Image token, any field. Huh. Alright, so that's 8, 9... And this is 9 as well, so I guess he's just trying to maybe tie? But then you're losing your field 3. No, you could still swap, right? You swap the Tortu with that Mirror Image over there, and you still end up winning 2 of the 3 and then tying one of the others. Again, Don Fidel could play something that can change that, but a Lady Seer to win the Highwind Falls would be hilarious. 2 cards from hand, leaving you with 1. Oof. Just to win the Highwind Falls? Yeah, no. That's such an odd play. Why would you... So in doing this, I guess he's trying to win those 2 fields. I guess it equals out to be the same thing, right? You win field 2 and field 3. And it's the same as winning field 1. It's just a roundabout way to get there. I think I would have rather won field 1 and field 3 or field 2, right? And if anyone's looking to get in a game, if you're not, if watching these 2 is giving you the itch to try out a strategy of your own, Not a Bot CP is in the Community Night tab, waiting to get in a game with somebody if someone wants to jump over there. While we wait to see what Don Fidel, how he counters the counters. Yeah, both these players, they just make plays that I never expect. Granted, most of my playing comes with, the developers, so developers often play differently than your more average players, I would say. All right, we're seeing something. Oh gosh, okay. Ooh, a Lady Seer to do 1 on a mirror image? No, that can't be right. He cannot, unless he's just not gonna use the debut effect. Yeah, it's a May, so he doesn't have to do it. Which, yeah, I would 100% not do it. All right, going for another play. So I assume at this point Simba has passed. We're seeing another. Oh, so a Fury Potion here. Okay. So gonna Fury Potion the Lady Seer then, so that way you can. Man. Where are we at on numbers here? Set. Okay, so yeah, he's got 10 in field 1, so he's winning field 1 by 1. So then, yeah, he's just trying to go a little bit bigger here to make sure he wins the field 2. Maybe debating what he's going to juice up with the Fury Potion. Yeah, that makes sense. You're going to be able to replace that anyway. Granted, the Lady Seer is not doing much. It's just 2 power. No Guardian. You're going to lose that on your Guardian. That's the only mirror image he has, too. He keeps killing his mirror images. 1 resource left. What do you do? You know what I would do? I think it's kind of funny. You could flip that inspiration and move that mirror image to field 3, and you would win field 3 instantly. Because it would be the highest. They would have the extra 3 power. It wouldn't even need it, but like you would get there anyways. And then you win 8 points. Your opponent wins 2. Yeah, that would instantly put him in the lead. Yeah, moving the mirror image to field 3 right now with the inspiration. Nope, they're just gonna add up points here. So he's gonna take 7, and Simba will take 3 then. Curious to where he puts that bonus power. Onto the Lady Seer. Not onto the Amptar, I wouldn't think, because you really do kind of want that Amptar to eventually die, right? I know watching this game has definitely made me want to play Ferocity. I haven't played it in like a month because I had been playing it so much because it is like one of my favorite styles. Try to keep things fresh and play a different style every time that I didn't play previously. Alright, and there's the 2 from field 2. Gets to give 3 power somewhere to something. Again, I'm telling you, every single time, I don't expect what they do. Every single time. I'm like, the Amptar wants to die. That's how I play all my Amptars. I kill my own Amptars constantly. Especially with the Trossum. Like, Amptar with the Trossum is so good. Yeah, Fury Potion in the support, Trossum and Amptar in a rotation. It's a good day. It's a good day to be a Ferocity player. Alright, so should be retreating back to the bench. think Simba's asking, where'd that 3 power come from? From that Summoner Peak I just won, sir. Hope everyone is doing well out there this evening. And discarded a second Lunos because his hand was over the limit. Also, if you're watching this now live or on a playback and you haven't already, make sure you go follow our Kickstarter. We're at 142 followers. We're trying to get to 200 by October 14th. That is our goal here, to go live. So we're still a little ways off, but you could go help us. You could help us get there if you haven't already. Also, our Director of Communications, Dawn, she's actually doing a giveaway on her Twitter account, on her X, depending on what era you use that social media in. She's giving away gift cards, like $20 and $50 gift cards for going and following the Kickstarter. So yeah, I would say seems like an easy choice there. I told her, I was like, man, I want to participate in this now. And then one of the other guys like, oh, you just go make 50 alt accounts then on Kickstarter and just go follow the page on all of them, so you get 50 entries into the giveaway for the gift cards. And I was like, there's an idea. Alright, so Simba is doing a face down resource this time. Again, like I said, we probably only expect to see a single support this whole game from him. And then Don Fidel has a face down as well. Only 2 cards in hand at the beginning of the round. That's so scary. But hey, at least your Skyson is able to be a beefcake. Okay, so first deploy. Who's going where? Imagine the Chrism goes back to the Windy Plateau. Man, he must really like the Sumner Peaks. Because Simba just keeps on wanting to score that field so bad. I'm curious of where the Skyson goes here, though. Because, like, where are you going to drag? Where are you going to drag it to? Taking power out of the Windy Plateau. I'm telling you, these players don't play like anything I've ever seen before. Like, I don't need 5 victory points. That's how you win. I don't want 5 victory points. I'm gonna take my power out of that field. Come again? Yeah. But, like, they keep doing these plays, and it keeps working. And I find that to be the most hysterical part of this whole thing, is they keep doing these wild plays, and it works. Are we going to clog that field up the rest of the way? I mean, you do have a Fury Potion, so you could clear something out of the way. Yeah, going all in on that Sumner Peaks. Alright, where are we playing this round? Looks like your call. Player with initiative chooses which field is inactive this round. Oh, goodness. Wow, what do you turn off? Maybe the Windy Plateau is the only field you're losing right now. Well, you're also losing 2, but you have... Are you losing 2? Actually, it's kind of hard to tell. Alright, because there's 8 and 8. 16, 17 on Simba's side, and then we got 8 and 6, that's 14, 16 with the Lady Seer, and then 17 with that mirror image. So it's actually somehow tied. That's so funny. So yeah, the Your Call, it could go anywhere. Let's see, right now, Don Fidel has 7 VP, and Simba has 8. So he is in the lead slightly. But Don Fidel's field is full. Like, again, he can use that Fury Potion to clear it out a little bit. Both players still have access to Inspiration, so they can both just move their big 8-power familiars over to the Windy Plateau. Which, this is the round that if I was to do it, this would be the time, right? You do it, and then you force your opponent to do it. Now, if you can stall out, and they don't do it, and then they pass, and then you can flip your Inspiration, which Don Fidel has plenty of resources, unfortunately does not have the hand size to stall too long. Alright, I see 3 resources exhausted, tapped, used. But is that from the previous game? Or the previous round, I believe? And what round is this? Is this round 3? I believe it is. Yeah, just look at the resources. Yeah, this is a round 3. Yeah, because Don Fidel used the sacrificial bond. That's why he's at 1 extra. Simba, again, that decision paralysis. He has so many cards in hand, just doesn't know what to do with it all. I think I would Skyer right now. Just send that Trossum back to the bench. Get it out of the Windy Plateau. This is my Windy Plateau. Yeah, Don Fidel went so heavy into field 2 though, and now like he didn't, go wide and like give a nice little sprinkling throughout. He just like dumped everything into one field, and then that one field ended up not being active this round. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt real bad. Alright, so we're seeing a 1-drop. Oh, just going for a Crochet here. It's actually super huge because you can move your Tortu, so move another ally. If they are a friendly ally, gain 1 VP, so there's no reason not to. Probably just move your own Tortu over there. It's 8 power, it's the same as the Chrism. But, I've been wrong every single time, so why not just move a second mirror image into that field? Oh my gosh. Field 2 is not even active right now. There's no point in leaving the Tortu in Field 2. They never do what I expect. Not even in the slightest. These players. These players. Two cards in hand. There's not a whole lot of choices on Don Fidel's. You're probably gonna be playing both of them unless they're both like 3-costers. And nope, we see just a Tortu here coming down. It's gonna have 4, and then the bonus from the falls. So this will win him the falls in theory, just with the 2-drop. Now, yeah, are you doing the Fury Potion or not? I think that's my biggest question. And if you are, what do you pop? Do you finally pop the Lady Seer? Or do you pop the Amptar? Again, all that power is doing you no good in a field that's not active. But giving you that VP, the Trossum, returning it to hand so you can play it again, that would be my choice, is pop the Trossum. He's hovering over that Tortu. You know block doesn't prevent, right? Block only works against opposing. Yeah, I'd pop the Amptar. Give the Skyson the power. All the power. The Amptar's power, the Fury Potion power. Get the VP. Drop the Amptar again because you got plenty of resources and not a lot of cards in hand. And literally not even plural. Not even plural on card in hand. So you probably need something else to play. And this is when putting that 3 power from the Sumner Peaks was a little interesting. Not sure why he's putting 1 power on that Tortu. Okay, he removed it. Yeah, it's only on others.
Where'd it go?
Okay, kicking it back over to Simba. Only 3 resources here. We've got some pretty full fields as well. Oh, so he is going to use the Fury Potion after all. Going to go for the Lady Seer yet again. Oof. That's just a Lady Seer of no use because there's no way you're discarding your last card in hand for that Lady Seer. When there's a literally a mirror image in every single field right now. Alright, so what's the play here on Simba's side? Do we see the Unity tactics finally and just... Oh, 1, 2, 3. Is it time? It is. Yep, it is the Unity tactics. So then it makes sense of, you know, the choices of moving stuff in certain places, because then you're going to give +2 power and block to every one of your allies, and that's going to be so good. And you're going to get that 2 VP. Now, if he plays the second one next round also, oh my gosh, that's just like game over, I would say. And then block everywhere. And he's at 9 right now, so that'll put him up to 11. And then... Yep. So it's not quite... I mean, it's pretty close to nil in the coffin. He's going to win every field. So the 2 fields. And to put him up to 19. Just because he can, I guess. The Shaper Magic, swap 2 friendly allies in different fields. It's not a May. You have to do this. So he just swapped 2 of the same. Now, again, all those guys should have blocks, so they should all be sideways, all those allies. But we know everything is blocked up. So that, yeah, that Lady Seer just still not doing you any good. There they are. Okay, alright, Don Fidel, what do you got? What is that last card in hand? Is that the game-breaking card? What, like a reset spell right now? I know he's not even playing special, but like it's like the only thing that comes to mind that could be even the slightest bit helpful. Oh my gosh, a reset spell right now would actually be pretty nuts. Again, not playing special, not even a possibility, but if it had been, it'd been pretty great. Yeah, I don't see what there could be. What do you play here? What's the last card in hand? That's not the Lady Seer. Now they will still have to play it out though, just because of tiebreakers later on. So Simba will probably get the win here, but getting VP is still important for tiebreakers later on. A Vortnail, okay. So paying 1 for a Vortnail here. Now he could still pop his inspiration and like move his Skyson over there for an extra 8 power in that field. Where would that put him at then? 17, 18, 21 versus 4, 8, 12, 17. So yeah, or clog the field up instead and not win it. Again, I can't predict these guys. I can't predict their choices. Yeah, because Skyson over there, that would actually be pretty fire. Like Skyson sitting in a field that's not even active right now. Why leave it? Not really sure. Yeah, throw the. I mean, I guess you could throw the Lady Seer down in field 3, and then the Falls would power. No, would not power up the Tortu anymore. Power up the Vortnail. No, yeah, nope. You're not winning that one. It's a juiced up snail. 8 power snail. Fastest thing on Earth. It's like Simba might be reading his own inspiration. Probably just trying to figure out if there's any possible way to make it work. Yeah, have fun with all that math. Yeah, it's a pretty big slam dunk, I would say. Didn't even need the Tortu or the Chrism to win the fields. Still got it on lock. Just the power of Unity Tactics with a Trossum. It's just like, by the time you get to that round 3, like you can do it earlier. Like when we were talking earlier, Chris and I, it's like there is a way to like do it by turn 2. It is possible, but like realistically though, comfortably you can do it in turn 3 and potentially turn 4 as well. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's so good with all those mirror images. All that Guardian with block. There's even a Crochet out there. Just, yeah. Only just add a Terrashick to the mix. Why not? Give our Trossum block, I guess. I can't imagine what they could be discussing right now. Maybe discussing how like plays could have been different. Yeah, talking about the power, the high windfall actually goes to the Vortnail instead of the Tortu. Yep. Did I miss something? Are they tied in the Windy Plateau? There's no way they're tied. 9, 12, 14, 15 on Don Fidel's side. And then 4, 8, 12, 17. I don't understand why they, why wasn't Windy Plateau scored? 15 to 17, right? Oh wait, sorry, I'm actually doing too much. Those are, oh, say 3, 6, yeah, 3, 6, 10, 15. Oh, okay. And then, yeah, I was thinking that for some reason in my head I had the mirror images as 2 base, but they're 1 base. Okay, that's on me. Yep, 15 to 15. So makes sense. Still though, 15 to 7. Yikes. Like, I'm not saying it's impossible for Don Fidel to not come back, but if he had been self-KOing that Amptar this whole game instead of the Lady Seer repeatedly, he would be in a lot better position. Lot better position. His familiars would be so much more juiced up because of the Amptar's own KO effect, and he would be, you know, at least 2 higher, 2 VP higher. Yeah, 14 to 7. So basically, you got to win. Yeah, you're going to drop your biggest guy there. Chrism makes sense. Although, are they both skipping resource phase? Don Fidel skipping resource phase, 100% understand. Simba's a little surprised, though. Or did he already? Oh, he did a face down. Right, because he's playing once per... He has no way of gaining bonuses right now. So yeah, Chrism up there. You just want your biggest guy. Yep. Where do you put him? I think you want your Skysen over in field 3 though, because it's going to be at 8 power to gain the benefit of the high windfall, with the potential to gain more off the Fury Potion. And then move whatever. You can move a mirror image with you, just keep you protected. And then you can put Trossum over in the Windy Plateau. That, or you go Skysim in Windy Plateau and you rip that low power Lady Seer out of there to play something else in its place, which is what we might be seeing here. Did I finally call one? I finally called one, guys. I finally did it. Finally got one correct. finally predicted one play off these guys. Yeah. And, yeah, Simba needs this game to end now. He does not need this game to go on any further because he's so clogged. Yep. And there's the mirror image down there. All right. Final round. Round 4. Assuming there's no crazy tie at the end. Oh, speed it up. The field works. The least VP is inactive this round. Okay. So there is a world if Don Fidel could somehow, some miracle, win both field 1 and 3, he could win. Because he would go up to 15 and win by 1. That is a steep mountain to climb, though, for that to happen. With 2 cards in hand. And if Simba just simply plays another Unity Tactics, that's it. That's game. It doesn't even matter what the rest of the plays are. I don't think. Well, no, I guess there could be like a Croshan. Don Fidel could play a Croshan and get 1 extra VP. In 1, what are we dropping? Just dropping and igniting. Keep it slow and steady. The scary part is, though, his fields are almost completely clogged. He's got 1 open spot left to play 1 creature. All right, Don Fidel, what do you possibly have? I can't even imagine. Play your last pathetic card, Yugi. I mean, you're very limited on choices here, I'm telling you. I guess the biggest debate Don Fidel probably has right now is what to use Fury Potion on. And still, they both have access to their inspiration. Granted, Simba's doesn't have a whole lot of choices. I don't think he wants to put anything in the center field because it's not being scored. But you have to win both, though. That's the hard part. I just don't know what he could possibly have in his hand. Like, what do you have? What do you have to play that could do anything? Because you need a lot of power. Nope, can't do a Tortu. That's a second copy. Can't do Tortu. Nope. You already have a Tortu in play. You're literally giving power to your Tortu while having a Tortu in play. You're not playing the Owl. You cannot have a second Tortu. Judge? Where's the judge at? Oh, one of the judges left. Okay, there it goes. There, it's corrected. Yeah, and then you lose the no power there. Yeah, that's real bad. So then what's the last card in hand then? We already see the Lady Seer. So these are 2 freshies that he just drew this turn, so that could be anything. Apparently one though is a Tortu, which is not great. Oh god. Oh, a second Lady Seer. You can't do a second Lady Seer, same as you can't play second Tortu. Oh no. Well, that is a wrap. Nope, can't even do it. Not even a legal play. Nope. And they got block anyway, so it's not even like it actually matters. Because they all have block. that's a wrap. Yeah, the game is pretty much done here. As Simba's hand just hovers over the little ladies here, like, wait, you already have one, and you can't even pop. Yeah, you can use your inspiration. That is the only play you have available to you, sir. I would just move your Skyson over. Try to win you some tiebreaker points for a later round. Like, how many does that put the Skyson at over there? 17, 20, 21 versus 3, 6, 10, 18, 19, I think. 19 or 20 with the Chrism. There's a token underneath it. That's why it's slanted like that when it got picked up and moved. Yeah, just go for the big one. Do it. No guts, no glory. And this is when we see the second Unity Tactics. Yep, drop it. There it is. It is just the one. So yeah, just the 19 there. That'll put you 19 to 21. So you technically are winning it by 2. He only has, like, Simba only has 1 slot left to play a creature, though. But a Unity Tactics would just be the biggest nail into the biggest coffin. Because then he would just take everything. Alright, Simba. What do you got? Just play the Unity Tactics. Play the Unity Tactics for us. Like, even if he doesn't have any way to gain anything, he still wins field 3. And that's game. Because he's got 5 power there. He's got 5 power on his Vortnell alone. So, without everything else helping out down there in field 3. Counting and counting again. Counting some more. And this is when he just plays the Unity Tactics, the second copy. And all the counting was for nothing. Something's got to give here. You got to play something. Again, decision paralysis. The guy I said was going to have the toughest time because he has no draw cards has had the biggest hand imaginable this whole game. He's had to discard almost every time or was like right on the cusp. Just going for a 1-coster here. Oh, a drill attack. Oh, Move or deploy a friendly familiar. Return an ally from any field to its owner's hand. I guess you could return your own. It's going to do return the Crocian. Yeah. And then what? Slide. You may move or deploy a friendly familiar. And then move your Trossum there to replace it so it's even bigger. Yeah. And then you win that field. It's an interesting use of drill attack. It's to help clear out your huge field. Oh, choosing not to move? Why wouldn't you move the Trossum? Just move your Trossum over and win the field, because why wouldn't you? Granted, why wouldn't you? I have asked that question at least 15, 20 times this game. Why wouldn't you? That makes too much sense. And Don Fidel is passing there. One, two. Going for a reprieve. Interesting choice there. But yeah, that will do it. Don Fidel has passed. Game will end here. Even if he takes that Windy Plateau, he still loses in the High Wind Fall. He has nothing to play. He's got doubles of cards already in play, so there's nothing he's going to be able to do about that. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I know it was a bit of a slog at times, but we ended up getting there anyways. So come back next week for week 3. Also, we are doing a stream every single day until release. So tomorrow, at some point, Dawn or myself will be getting in a game. So come back for that. Should be a lot of fun.